All right, let's deal with organizing your email and keeping it organized. So you can see over here in my side menu, I have a bunch of these different little labels, and some of them have sub ones. So like my Shen folder has lots of sub labels, and some of those have sub labels. Okay, so how do you create these labels, and then how do you use these labels? Notice some of my labels have colors too. So to create a label, you're simply going to come up here to this little labels tab, and you're going to click once on it. If you type a name of a label, it will create that label and apply it to the message you currently have selected. You can also click on the create new here, and it will allow you to create a new label. So let me do superintendent. Okay, and I want that label to be a sub-label of my DO, Shen, and then DO, and I want it to be a sub of that, so Shen DO superintendent. So I can nest labels like that and click create. Okay, and now what you'll see over here is when I click on the DO, I see both the CIA and the superintendent one. Okay, and then when I click on superintendent, it shows me the messages that are there. So this message I do not want there. I want it back in my inbox. So I can either find that label up here, which notice I have to come down here because my inbox is divided up into those categories. Okay, so I either have to drag it, put it in that category, or you can also just take a message and drag it over to where you want it and drop it. Okay, so in this case, I'd slide my bar all the way up here to the top, drag this, drop it over in the inbox, and it says the conversation has been moved. So that's creating labels, okay? And then you can look at your labels here for that message. So this one has both those checked on it. So I'm going to take it out of there and let it go back into promotional and say apply. Okay, that's another way of doing it. Okay, so back over here to my inbox, primary, social, promotions, that one's over here in the promotions box. Okay, so can I file multiple messages away once I create a label? Can I put more than one label on a message? The answer to both of those is yes. So when you've already got a message label created, you just select the message, and you can do this one of two ways. You can click the move to, or you can archive the message. I'm going to choose the move to one, which is right next to the labels one. When I click that, it shows me all of my labels. And so what this is going to do is it's not only going to label the message with the label that I select from this pull down here, Shen High School, but it's also going to move it into that label. So a label is both a label and a folder in a way. And when I do that, it just disappears from my inbox. So that's a quick way to get your inbox down. Okay. However, you can also take a message, and this one's one I would actually normally delete, but I'll show you this. And I can come up here to my label tab, and I can say, well, this is a personal message, and it's also having to do with the SIL. And so now when I apply those labels, you'll notice that this message from Julie now has personal Shen and Shen SIL labeled on it. Okay, it hasn't moved it out of my inbox. Okay, to do that, I have to use the move to or drag and drop it. Okay, I can also just delete that message by clicking the delete. All right, if a message that comes in is something that you want to delay to later and you don't want to see it in your inbox, but you do want it to come back up, there's now a snooze feature. When you do this, it'll let you choose when you want to see this message again. So I'll say tomorrow. Disappears from my inbox. It'll pop back up in there tomorrow. So it's another way to keep your inbox kind of clean, and just what you're doing today is to snooze messages the number of days until you need to deal with it. So it's a really nice feature, and it's a new feature in Gmail. Okay, back to filing messages away. So I have this message from Lucas Labar, the high school assistant, about the Chromebook meeting. Okay, I can label that with the high school one-to-one label. Okay, just so you see that it shows there, but it didn't move it. Okay, now I want to move it. Just come over here, and I choose where I want to move it to. Note that it's got two labels on it. It'll be in both places. Okay, when you move it though, it takes it out of your inbox is all it's really doing. Okay, so now if I can show you that, I'll come over here and I can click on my Shen label, and it's going to bring up 1,300 messages. Okay, but you'll see there's that message that's in my Shen labels. If I come down here to the high school one-to-one folder, that same message will be in there. So it's really nice that you can file things away in multiple folders, something that's really not too practical in Outlook. Okay, in terms of filing it away. You can make copies and file multiple copies away, but not really that practical. So back over here, take a different message. Okay, I come back up here, go to labels, and I can click on manage labels. It's also in your settings screen. When you do that, it takes you to a screen where you can decide which labels show up, and which labels hide. Notice I hide the chat label. I don't want to see that over here on my side. So you can choose which ones to hide, which ones to show. Same thing you can do with the categories, which are the social updates, forums, and promotions. And then down here, you can also show or hide labels that will be in your side panel. Okay, and which one is a sub-label of which. If I go to one of those labels here, once I click on it, I can access these settings for it here. Okay, and that lets me edit the label. That's a little bit about organizing your Gmail.